Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is our last segment on Demons and Devils, and this I'm going to talk about how to use them in your game, how to introduce them, and how to decide what they're going to do, what their plans are. If you watch the first couple of segments, then you can probably guess. But just in case you didn't, I'm going to go over it again, and we're going to have some good time. And we're going to talk about the Minion War in a little more detail. So stay tuned for that.
Role-playing games thrive in fantastic worlds and at inclusive tables that embrace these core values for the most positive gaming experience. Donate to the Wounded Warrior Project via the link in the description below to help, honor, and empower our wounded heroes. On Thursdays and Saturdays, watch Heathen Dog's Dirty Casuals play multiplayer video games over on Twitch. On Sundays and Fridays, join us for tabletop role-playing game content on both YouTube and Rumble. Finally, please take a quick moment to like this video and share it with both your friends and on social media. If you have not done so, please subscribe to Legion of Myth and activate that bell icon to receive notifications of new content.
All right, here we go. How do I introduce Demons and Devils into my universe, into my campaign in a way that makes sense with their lore and what they want to accomplish? Okay, there are a bunch of ways you can do it. First is a random encounter. This is the most rare. Because a demon is going to have a plan. You're probably not going to run into them randomly. A devil works mainly behind the scenes. You're probably not going to run into him, but it's possible. And if you as a game master want to do this, that's fine. But they're going to react in a certain way. For example, if you run into a demon as a random encounter in your game, the demon probably has something he wants to get done. And the best way to do that is to get away from you and do it. But if put into a corner, he will fight fiercely and to the end. Because remember, they all know they really can't die. They can't die here. Not in your world. So they will fight to the death and they will love it. Now, if it's a devil, you run into a devil, you're like, oh God, they're going to try and get away because they don't really like to fight head on as their first go-to move. But they will keep trying to get away using diversion tactics, spells that cause confusion or delay or whatever to get away. Or they will call up subjugated minions to come help them to defeat you and then get away.
It's funny you say, because that's what I always picture. One of the things I've always kind of found weird, and it doesn't matter what game I'm playing, D&D, Palladium, whatever, is that why am I fighting a demon? The demon should have masses of people that are there to get me, unless it's the lowest level demon, devil, whatever. It shouldn't. I should never be able to just directly confront it unless everything's gone wrong.
That is right, and that's why I said this instance is very, very rare. You're coming across a singleton demon or a singleton devil, sorry, and you have to confront them. It's very rare that you're going to find them all out and alone, all by themselves, but it's possible. All right, a more realistic thing, a scout force. You come across a demon from Hades scout force. This is the initial probing into your dimension. They're gathering intelligence and you run across it. Lucky you. Now it's very uncommon you're going to run across this because, they can be sneaky when they want to, right? But this is going to be not just a single demon. It's going to be, 3 to 5, maybe even 10. And they're going to be all different races. Some of them are going to be like demon bats. Some of them are going to be taskmaster. Some are going to be, I wouldn't say a greater demon, but a master minion perhaps. So they're going to be a higher level of power. They're going to be able to work together, but they will not, in this instance, remember it's a scouting force. They're going to want to get away. They're not going to fight to the death because they have intel they need to bring back, especially about you guys. And double, especially if you are a really cohesive fighting unit. This place is defended.
I guess the only way I can maybe see differently is if they cannot be spotted. Like the orders are, hey, you aren't there, you can't be spotted, wipe out anything that's seen you.
That is true. That's fine. But if you're
But
spotted, you
that's
got to
very
make
nuanced. That's a nuanced,
yeah, it's pretty
condition.
much. Now, a Devil scout force, their purpose is not to generally look at the physical defenses and defenders of a realm, but to entrench themselves in the society and start corrupting it from within. That's their go-to move. Remember, Devils like the whole puppeteering manipulation from behind the scene type thing more than they like actual physical confrontation. Now they can do it, but they like the wizard behind the screen, right? They like that better. So if you run across an initial scouting force, that means they haven't been able to entrench themselves in a society and start corrupting it. So if you kill them all, good on you. You've at least slowed down the corruption of a or many governments in your world. Good job. But again, they're going to want to get away, not because they're scared of dying, not because they're scared of you, but because their job has to be completed, or else they're gonna take hell from their bosses. So
I see what you did there.
yeah, you like that. So they're also gonna want to get away. So keep that in mind. And then we come across the destabilizing force. This is if it's a demon that if it's a demon force, this is an actual attack force. This is a subjugation force. This is a force made to topple governments, and you found it. Uh-oh, you got a big problem. They're not running away. They've done the grunt work, they've done the scout work, and now it's time to start an invasion of this planet. You as player characters, it's probably going to be your job not to face them alone, but to gather the forces of your world to repel this imminent invasion.
Yeah, just calling the mechanoids.
They'll kill you too.
That's
There's that. Now, if it's a Devil destabilizing force, that means they are probably already entrenched in one or more governments, making moves, corrupting people behind the scenes. They're going to be very difficult to ferret out. They've buried themselves deep and hidden themselves in society. And they have unwitting pawns that are going to either stop or hinder your progress at every step of the way. Again, this choice for the game master is based on your group. Which one will A, give the players the most fun, and or B, give the players the most challenge? It depends on how the group is structured. Are they all strong fighters? Well, if you want to give them a challenge, give them a Devil entrenched force. Or if you want to give them fun, then make it be demons so they can go head to head and start pounding skulls. Great. Whatever's going to be best for your group, choose that. And then we have the last one, the entrenched force. This is the one where the demons have conquered part, half, or almost all of a world. And
so they're known, right?
Yeah, they are known and they are entrenched. They're dug in. They control many parts of or almost all parts of this planet. And it's your job to be a rebel force to overthrow them. This is going to be for a long campaign.
And this is when the demons come in and offer you all the gold and glory to go
all
take
the
them out.
gold and women in the world to just get with the times, man. Get with the program.
But I have that back. Well, I was going the opposite side, like to kind of keep the war going. Like, oh yeah, you need to take them out. We'll help you take them out. Here, have these things.
Yeah. See, all these things. Now, what he's saying right there, this is the best way to run an entrenched force is if it's an entrenched force of demons, you may get help either knowingly or unknowingly by devils to disrupt the demon dominance of this world. Now, is that for your benefit? Absolutely not.
No.
It's for the devil's benefit or vice versa.
Related, so it seems like it's for your benefit.
Exactly. You're going to think, oh, he's a shadowy benefactor, but he has my best intentions at heart. No, man, he doesn't. He has his best intentions at heart. You are a puppet. You are a plaything. You are a means to an end. But even when you find that out, do you still take his help? Well, you may not win if you don't. That's a moral conundrum now. See, now we're getting into nuance. Now is where your alignment is going to be important. It's no longer black and white, an invading force, a scouting force, a singleton encounter. Now it's gray area. Do I accept help from this evil to fight that evil? Some people aren't going to be able to do it. Some people have no problem with it. Some people are like, hell, I'll just join them. Like whatever. It all depends on your group and their alignments and their personalities and stuff like that. But these are the four obvious ways to introduce demons and devils to your campaign. Now, obviously, the last one, Entrenched Force, you either dimension travel to a world that's already been taken over or mostly taken over, or
you've lost,
or you have now lost the war and you are now a rebel, like Star Wars. The Empire's won, but you turned yourself instead of a army of the Republic, you are the army of the rebels. That's what you are now. The campaign changes, but still goes on. That's entirely possible.
When I do my games, I typically do them, what I call the timeline system. And one of the reasons why I like it is because we can fight the small thing and then find out, oh, there was something bigger in the background that was pushing that. And then, oh, there's something bigger in the background. Oh, campaign's still going. There's something bigger in the background. As the machinations go on, I try not to get lost within the webs, but all of a sudden you come to find out this entire thing, everything you have done has been manipulated by a devil. And you actually played into his hands. By winning, you played into his hands. Yeah. And now
you thought you were completing your objectives. You were actually completing his objectives. He just made you think they were yours.
And you didn't even know about him for the first.
You were played like a fiddle.
And then when you did find out about him, you thought that you were defeating him, but you actually ended up, I love twists like that.
Now, be careful with stuff like that, because some player groups do not react well to being bitches.
Well, you still have to have a win condition.
Yeah, but a lot of people could just walk away from the table.
I could see that if you don't have a win condition at all, but if you choose not to take the win condition, again, well, we didn't know that stabbing the baby in the heart was the actual way that we would win. Okay, that's pretty bad table, first of all, to do that in the first place. But secondly, the idea being like, no, it shouldn't be such a blinder's decision. Oh, we found the book of vile deeds. Like, yeah, that's probably not going to help us. Well, you didn't read the book of vile deeds. But no. There should be something that has built over time that allows you to make the choice. But still, it's a clouded, it's an obfuscated choice. It's like neither seems good or neither seems bad. And you're just like, oh, which one do you do? Like then I don't see why they should walk away.
And now we get to the final way to introduce demons and devils to your campaign. And this one is all too common. Witches and shifters. Because I don't care what, okay, if you have comments like this, keep it to yourself, man. You're writing down your own ignorance. A witch and a shifter can make supernatural pacts with supernatural creatures. 99.99% of the time, it's a bad one. And guess what? Demon and devil lords love to make pacts with shifters because it is a foothold into that dimension. That's their game plan, to take your shit as their own. All of your world is now mine. All your base now belong to us. That's their job. That's their win condition. And you are the spark that lights the fire. As a witch or a shifter, you will be playing the demon or devil's game. You have no choice. You made a pact. You must obey. Sooner or later, he will make you do something that will cause his people to get a foothold in your world. And you did it to everyone. You did it. I was taken advantage of. No, you said yes, stupid. You weren't taken advantage of. You sold your world out for power. That is the most common way demon or devils get a foothold in a new dimension. Witches and shifters, the bane of the multiverse.
Okay.
Now, once they get this foothold and they get in there, why do they do that? What's the damn point? Well, that's what the Minion War is all about. That's what how the Minion War broke out when Modeus, the leader of the demons in Hades, decided, you know what? Since time immemorial, we've been fighting devils in skirmishes. There's only a couple places in the multiverse where there's a long drawn out campaign. Palladium Fantasy, there's a place called the Great Rift that has a giant rift to Hades and a giant rift to Dival right next to each other, and the demons fight there all the time. And a couple of other places in the multiverse. But Modeus had an idea, a plan, and I'm going to talk about that plan right now. Let's go into that.
Ooh.
All right, the Minion War. An ongoing war between the demons of Hades and the minions of Dival have been fought on for countless eons. There are no records to indicate when the fighting first began, and as far as the ageless demons of Hades and minions of Dival are concerned, they've been fighting for an eternity. Even they don't remember. It's Hatfield and McCoy, only forever. Until this may or may not be the case, but whether the truth, the fighting has escalated since Modeus became ruler of Hades. Until recently, the war was isolated to skirmishes and hit-and-run tactics, which never really resulted in any substantial gains. Whenever the devils or demons would gain a foothold, the other side would take it back. It's the ultimate trench warfare. It may take you decades to gain even a foot on the battleground, and then you could lose it just as easily. Furthermore, there has been an unspoken agreement between the two sides not to attack or invade the other's home realm. That's because that's how they can actually die. And they don't want to die. See,
that seems lame.
No. Even ancient supernatural creatures who've lived forever, they can die in one way. They will make sure that way never happens.
What's the point of fighting then, unless you're just trying to gain experience for the real war?
I'm gonna
okay.
It's right here. This has changed since Modeus has taken charge. The skirmishes increased from small unit attacks to mass actions involving thousands. When it seemed that war would break out on numerous fronts, conflict was diverted to the Great Rift in the land of the damned of the Palladium world. There, demons and devils unleashed their hordes by tens of thousands to test their others' resolves. The area was perfect, being a remote location where a private little war could be waged. Unfortunately, the land of the damned is cut off from the rest of the Palladium world, fortunately. And few people in the rest of the world even know the Great Rift and the battle of them exist, let alone rage for 1,000 years. The Great Rift has been a good location for devils and demons to field troops, test strategies, new weapons, and get a feel for each other, what you could throw into the mix. The goal for both warring factions is the conflict is simple. Take the Great Rift. A task easier said than done. Now, this hasn't been working. No one could take it. Trench warfare, like I said. Now, what was I going to say? Oh, crap. I forgot. Okay, let's move on then. As part of the rules of the game, no more than 6 factions would exist there at any given time. As new factions arrive, old factions leave the fighting, or 2 smaller factions merge into a larger one. Both sides have funneled troops into the Great Rift for thousands of years without ever gaining or lasting advantage over the other, and yet the battle continues. The Battle of the Great Rift is now a stalemate. However, Modeus, having finally tested the mettle of his demon hordes, grew impatient and, throwing caution to the wind, decided the time for invasion had come. All that was needed was a portal to Dival. Nobody other than Abdul Ra had been to Dival, and he was prisoner at the time, so they could not use dimensional teleport to appear. A gateway to Dival had to be found, and with one swift order, thousands of demon scouts were sent looking for the portal that would lead them to the doorsteps of the Devil's home dimension. That's why I said that one of the encounters could be a scout force. They could be looking for a portal to Dival if it's a demon. The first dimensional offensive. It would take a considerable amount of time, but eventually 5 key locations would be identified as major gateways to Dival. The first and obvious is the Great Rift in the Palladium world. That's the one they already know about. However, the Great Rift was always a battlefield and always heavily contested, so it's nowhere near guaranteed to be able to get through that. The second portal was found on Rift's Earth. in the Black Forest of Germany.
Of course.
There at the Tree of Darkness, hundreds of supernatural beings lingered. Within the bowels of the tree, a relatively unguarded portal was found. A tree limb with the head of a horned demon is the doorway to Dival. Very close by is a similar portal to Hades, from which the demons could emerge, amass, and then go through the next one. Perfect. That one's awesome. The third and fourth portals to Dival were found in the 3 galaxies, specifically Phase World and the planet of Mond. I don't know if it's really pronounced that. That's what I'm doing. I'm doing the E silent. Phase World was too busy and heavily trafficked as a dimensional nexus to actually be useful because this is a secret invasion, a sneak attack. Too many eyes are on this one. So the demons could arrive at Mond relatively unmolested, use Phase World as a means to arrive on the planet Mond undetected by the Devils. They could then use the portal on Mond to invade Dival. Finally, on another Earth planet of humans in another dimension, a 5th portal to Dival was found located in the sewers of a place called Century Station. That's the Heroes Unlimited. That's why they came out with this book. Demons and Devils, boom, boom, boom. Here, however, the Devil's Scourge had already established a foothold, as if waiting for demons to arrive. Could it have been they already knew about the portal? Spoilers, no, they didn't. Or was it possible that the traitor or spy among the demons had warned the Devils of their plans? No, probably not. Or was it mere coincidence? Yeah, probably that. Whatever the case, it was another portal from which the demons could begin their offensive. There are undoubtedly other suitable portals, but for now, these would do fine. So the plan, I'm not going to read the whole thing now. I'm going to go over, hey, Modeus had a plan. Here's the plan. There are, if you've watched Beetlejuice, you know about sandworms. If you've watched Dune, you know about sandworms. Giant things, basically forces of nature. They go through an area, you kind of like hide. When they pass, you come back and count your blessings, you're still alive. In the Palladium multiverse, one of these things are called tout worms, T-A-U-T. Modeus's plan was to use these 5 portals, throw a crap ton of tout worms through them, cause chaos on Dival from 5 different directions at once, and then after a certain amount of time, after they're fighting these tout worms, then millions of demons pour through all these 5 portals and assault the enemy, destroying them outright in one fell swoop. Amazing plan. Probably would have worked. Too bad demons suck. Somebody messed up and sent the worms before the troops were ready. The worms went through, caused the appropriate amount of chaos and confusion, but it was months before the troops were ready. There was not enough backup troops to actually hold any ground. So this pissed off Sahalthus, the Dival leader, and it turned into a massive, massive multi-fronted war. Here we go. Where we go. And that's what turned into hundreds of dimensions being assaulted by demons and devils trying to gain dominance. The devils are pissed, and Modeus does not want devils coming to Hades to kill his people outright. He wanted to do that to them. Well, someone messed up and screwed up that plan. So his new plan is we will attack Dival on so many fronts that they will not be able to get a cohesive army together to attack us directly.
The messed up thing about that, though, is if you consider like their alignments and their mentalities, that actually works in the Devil's favor, because they're used to chaos. I wouldn't say they prefer. They're used to chaos. So a chaotic war, while not good for anyone, I would still think would be like, well, you know what? We can handle this. We can handle the guerrilla tactics. We can handle this kind of fighting because they're used to just being a chaotic situation where everybody always wants to kill them.
Normally, I would say yes, but the problem with the Devils is that they are not organized enough. Remember, they are anarchists by heart.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
But a multi-pronged attack on all of their holdings all at the same time, it requires for
Some coordination,
the
I get it.
attackers and the defenders too. It requires a great amount of structure to defend all of these things all at the same time. It requires people to follow orders consistently and with reliability. Devils are not known for this, so they're having trouble. Sure, instinctually they understand guerrilla warfare, how to do it and how to defend against it, but on this multi-pronged, multi-front offensive / defensive, they cannot organize as well as the demons can.
Okay.
So there's your problem. And it's spilling out into the multiverse. Now, this is the best way, or the easiest, I'm not saying the best way, the easiest way to introduce demons and devils in your world. Your world is now one of those hundreds of worlds that is a contested battleground. Demons and devils are fighting on your world to gain its resources, to gain a portal or rift that leads to a place that has strategic value. So the demons and devils both want it. You have to defend your world. Now, I don't recommend this for early level play. I do not at all. But
are there no low level demons, so to speak? Like, D&D has this slot.
There are low level demons that low level characters can face, but this is a concerted invasion effort by two different supernatural forces. I do not recommend it for low level heroes at all. But mid to high level, yes, this is a doable thing. But it's the easiest way to introduce them because it's happening in 100 worlds. Why not yours? It needs as little justification as possible to be logical. So that's it. I hope having seen all three of these videos, you've seen all three of these segments, you not only know what demons and devils are, how they think, and how they can be introduced into your campaign in an organic and natural fashion. Right. So what do we have for comments?
Actually got a few. Let me go over here. Question about demons, evil lords, gods. We already did that one. Sorry. Nope. Did we not unstar these? Hold on. Yep. All right. There we go. In OG Pathfinder, so that's I think first edition Pathfinder. The Lord or Deval, whatever, was Satan. Name changed in later editions, but to confuse things more, Devil is basically hell, where Hades is the domain of the Greek gods of the same name and Asmodeus.
Yeah. See, I told you about the Asmodeus and Moloch thing that I picked up, but I read Palladium Fantasy and it contradicted enough with the newer stuff that I decided to drop it and only go with the newer stuff.
Yeah. I had to say Pathfinder, whatever. I mean, I meant we're talking Palladium. I didn't mean to say Pathfinder if I said that. Apparently, I said Pathfinder. Summoners in fantasy can summon demons and lose a battle of wills, causing the demon to likely wreak havoc before leaving.
Yeah, before. But the thing is, they didn't plan on staying there, so that's not going to be the beginning of entrenchment in that plane of existence. It might lead to a beginning of entrenchment when the demon or devil gets back to their home plane and say, hey, this place here is high enough in magic. It has resources. We could want it. We might want to go and take that place over. So your summoner could initiate the ball rolling for the domination of your homeworld by evil forces of darkness and despair, but the witch and the shifter are the reason for it. Screw those guys.
Minion were actually starting the first of the Land of the Damned books for Palladium Fantasy. Pathfinder! No, Palladium Fantasy. That book has actual minions working for the factions in the war.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you have the Land of the Damned?
I don't have it.
Okay.
I didn't read it. Sorry. Again, I decided to go newer, so I didn't research that.
He lied to me too, because my thumbnail has Palladium Fantasy.
I know. At the beginning of the week, I thought it would be a good idea, and then I started getting all these discrepancies, and I was like, it's not a good idea anymore.
That's fair. I'm getting good ideas listening to you guys. See, there you go.
That's
You're
great.
actually giving out some good stuff, and I'll just put that down with this one as well. Great show today.
Oh, thank you, Michael. Appreciate it.
So pop those two off. But Hawkman says, also, since it's a devil, you might not even realize it's a devil at first. Yeah,
that is true. They are masters of subterfuge and manipulation, so they may even use magic to change their form to make them look like an old man that's so nice and no, I would never hurt you. Yeah, easy peasy.
Hawkman also said, also throw in hints. So this is about the whole idea of, being
right.
a devil in the end.
This is not just introducing them, but playing over time, sending out little tiny hints that may be overlooked by the player characters, or someone says, "Hey, did you notice he smelled a little funny? What was that? Like rotten eggs? What was that?" It's, you're overthinking it. Shut up. All right.
The issue with that comes in, goes back to the conversation we had between segments that nobody's going to see on video. Only the members will see it if they watch a full live stream. Is the trusting of the player's side of it. If you give out too much information, you just sold the secret. If you don't give out enough information, you get what Heathen Dog said, and the players get mad at you. And there's such a fine balance in there because you'll have one, players red herrings. They love red herrings, man. But if you have too many red herrings, they follow them too often, then they just get angry. So it works great for a novel. It's a struggle at a table to get the player characters to have that balance.
Yep.
Right. And then finally, shifters can just go somewhere else if the world fails. No big deal.
You are not making a case for playing a shifter. If your go-to move is when the going gets tough, I just get going. I bail. Then screw you and your mother. God, man, you brought this evil here, and now you're like, well, sucks to be you. Gotta go. Ripcord.
It's like that Stargate episode with that chick I forget who she was, but she's like that evil god or whatever it was, and she was in the body of that female, and they didn't know who started the plague, and it ended up being her.
Yeah,
and they didn't know until right at the end of the episode.
They were in a jail. She was the destroyer of worlds. Her name was.
I forget.
I'm blanking on it. I'm blanking.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
like what? I just mind wipe. How do you know it was me?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, that's
Linnea.
Linnea. There you go. Yep. You're right. You're right. Linnea. Yep. So, and excellent content. So, hey, I appreciate that, guys. So, what are you going to talk about next week? Because now you can spill the beans.
Okay, now I'm going to say, okay. Next week is going to be Rifter number 1.